So Kakadosh Boker Tov, good morning. We're continuing on Ayin Bet. This is going to be Daf 72A1. We're just starting on Ayin Aleph Amud Bet on the bottom, the last line over there where it says, and the Me'il, right, is going to be Shne Masar. So this Me'il was like a robe, so that the entire thing was made out of Techelet. It's going to be intertwined by 12 different strings. Menala, and how do we know this? Tichtiv, as it says in a pasuk, ve'asita et mila efod kelil techelet. Right, so you have to make the me'ila efod kelil techelet, which means you have to make it from a tchut techelet itself, which is going to be made intertwined by other strings. So since there's no kliya, which is less than 2 chutim, so we have to say that when it says chutia me'il is made out of 2 chutim shizurim of techelet, v'yalif techelet mi parochet, and we make a gzera shava techelet from the parochet. Okay, so therefore, Maleh Halan, just like by the parochet, every single chut was made out of 6. So to here, the me'il, every single one was made out of 6. Okay, so now if you have 2 by 6, so it's going to become 12. So that's what we said it was going to be out of 12. So ask the Gemara, V'neilaf, so we're in Bet Amud Aleph on the top, yeah? V'neilaf mishulav v'rimonav. Why don't we learn the amount of the strings of the inside the me'il, that we should have learned it from the rimonim, which are on the side of the me'il, right? But it also says tchelet there. So just like over there, Maleh Halam by the rimonim, it's going to be made out of 8, just like we learned above, that every single one was made out of 8. So to here, it's going to be made out of 8. Why do you say it's only made out of 6? So answers the Gemara, danin kli mi kli, vendanin kli mi tachshit kli. The me'il, right, and what we were talking about before, they're both kelim. The rimonim, or is the tachshit. So therefore, it's not good to learn it from the rimonim because it's a tachshit. A tachshit is an adornment. So don't learn a utensil from the adornment of utensil. You learn the utensil from the utensil.
Was it really for adornment? Because it was to.
The rimonim were adornments. It's an adornment on the me'il.
Yes, but it was not to announce that he was.
Also, no, that's 100%. But it's not a beged. It's not a kli. It's an adornment to the Kohen. Okay. What was the purpose behind it? You're right, 100%. It's in order to tell everybody where the Kohen Gadol is, so on and so forth. But at the end of the day, it's an adornment. It's not the actual utensil. So therefore, since that's what he's trying to say here.
That was the main purpose.
Yeah. Okay. So says the Gemara, Adra, but the opposite. Tanin gufo mi gufo, vendanin gufo mi alma. What's better? To compare the me'il to the rimonim, which is on the me'il, which means gufo mi gufo, from the same body, from the same, I don't know, you want to say the same entity, thank you, right? From the same entity. Or you're going to judge the me'il from something else, from the parochet, which is not from, it's some from something else. So answers the Gemara, Hainu de Amnina, and that's what people say, Lishar begadim shelo ne'emar b'hen shesh. That which we said that the Braita is talking about, to other begadim, which is not written the word shesh, which is the me'il. So therefore, that time that it's written shesh, is coming to teach you that also you have to do it 6 times. So since the me'il is made out of the kalua from 2 different chutim, so it comes out that gedil is going to become 12. Why? Because it's 2 times 6, which equals 12. Okay? Fine. Then we spoke about the parochet. So the parochet is going to be with esrim v'arba, 24. Okay? So the parochet is made out of 24. So says the Gemara, yeah, he comes and he says like this. Right? Arba'a de shita. It's going to be 4, right? 4 meaning of different chutim. That each one of them is going to be kaful shesh. So if you have pishtan and 3 different types of tzemed, right? You have the linen and 3 different types of wool. So therefore, everything is times 6. So 4 times 6 is 24. Makes sense. Okay? So he says, la dina vela dayana. So therefore, we don't have to actually judge it, and we don't even, right? We don't need the dayan and we don't need the din, because it's so pashut. There's no safek, right? That means only when you need these things, it's only when you have a doubt. Here you have no doubt. You know, it's simple. There's nothing else we'll talk about. Fine? Choshen ve'efod. The choshen ve'efod is esrim ushmona. It's 28. Okay? So says the Gemara, Menala, and how do we know the choshen ve'efod is 28? Tichti ve'asita choshen mishpat masechta masefot asenu. Zahav techel b'gamam tolat shani mishash mozar. So now, 1 second. So now he says like this. He says, what we just said now was, arba'a de shita shita. There were 3 types of tzemed and pishtan. So it comes out, and they were all made out of 4. Okay, so, but they were all made out of 6, which means like this. There's 4 groups made out of 6, correct? So then how much is 4 times 6? 24, just like we said before. Okay? But now he says, Zahav is also Arba. Because how do we start? We started Zahav, then we said Techelet Argaman, Tolat Shani, and Shesh Wazar. So those are 4. We just said that every single 4 was intertwined by 6. So 4 times 6 is 24. But what is Zahav? Zahav is another 4. Since Zahav is another 4, so therefore it's going to be 28. So says the Gemara, Ve'ima Zahav Nami Shisha. If you're already telling me that all the other ones were made out of 6, so maybe the Zahav is also made out of 6. So then it becomes 5 times 6, which is 30, not 28. Because you did it was 4 times 6 is 24, plus 4. Zahav is 4. So 24 and 4, 28. Maybe I'm going to say that Zahav is also 6. So if Zahav is 6, so then you got 24 plus 6 is 30. So answers the Gemara, Amar Ravacha bar Yaakov, Amar Kra, it says in a pasuk, Vekitzetz petilim. Petil, petilim. So it says, if it would have said petil, which is 1 string, right? So then I would have said, okay, fine, chut echad. Now that it says petilim, it's 2 strings. When it says vekitzetz petilim, so it's mashma that the 2 petilim themselves, kitzitzu vechilku echad mehem l'shnayim, that they split it 1 to 2. So then it's 4. Because basically what we did is that we said petil is 1, petilim is 2. Vekitzetz petilim, you have to cut it into 2. So now 2 becomes 4. Okay, that's what we say it's going to be 4. Another answer, Ravashi Amar, Amar Kra, it says in a pasuk, la'asot betocha techelet u'tocha argaman. Right, you have to do inside of the techelet, inside the argaman, tocha tolat hashrim, tocha hashrim, maseh choshev. So it's mashma that the chutei zahav was muravim with every single mean b'fnei small. Right, that means each species was intertwined with the gold. So therefore, it cannot be that it's made out of 6, right? Because he says over here, lo yitachen sheyesh shisha chutei zahav with 4 minim acherim, right? Because if not, it's going to be problematic. So you needed 4 to be intertwined with every single one. Since there's 4 strings, so you needed the gold had to be made out of 4, so each one is going to go into it, right? So he says, Hechi navid arba'a ditretre. If you're going to make 4 zugot and each one of them had 2 golden chutim, right? So therefore he says, right, and each one, so then have a little many, so then it's going to become 8, then it's not going to become 6. Navid trei, if you're going to do 2 strings of 2 by 2, right? Utrei techav echad, and then you're going to have 2 of 1 and 1s. It's vasita ktiv. You have to do all of them the same thing, right? When it says vasita, all of them is shekulam yu shavot. If you remember, that's what we learned yesterday. They ought to be equal. Shekol shviotav shavot. So you can't do it. So therefore, right, all the chutim, the techelet, agaman, tolat shavim, b'shtan, all of them were done the same way. So therefore, because of that, you have to do the gold out of 4. Okay. Amar Rav Rachba, Amar Rav Yuda, says Rachba, the name of Yuda. Hamkare'a bigdei kiuna lokesh ne'mar lo yikare'a. He says if somebody's going to come and tear, right, bigdei kiuna, he's going to get lashes because he transgresses the avera, right? He transgresses the avera of lo yikare'a. Lo yikare'a means you're not allowed to tear. Okay? Fine. So imagine lashes for tearing the clothing of the Kohanim. So matkif la Ravacha bar Yaakov, Asar Ravacha bar Yaakov, din ma'achi kama. Maybe this is what the Torah means. Din ma'achi kama rachmana na'avil lesafa ki yechid lo nikara. Why don't we make for it a safa so it doesn't tear? The safa is like the hem on the bottom. When you make a hem, no? A seam. Okay, the seam. Right? The seam on the, which is, I think also it's a hem. It's not the same. Okay, fine. On the bottom, it's called the, yeah? Okay, very good. So, dobladillo, exactly. Right, that by doing that, what happens is you stop it from tearing. Yeah, you stop it from tearing. So it says over here, right, Navile safaki chadolo nikara. Mikativ, so answers the Gemara, shelo yikara. It doesn't say shelo yikara, right, beshin, which is mashma that you're not going to give a reason for making the safa. It says lo yikarea, right, without the shin, right? Since it's written lo yikarea without the shin, so it's mashma that besides the reason of the making of the safa, the Torah is saying in itself that you're not allowed to tear, not do a hem so it shouldn't tear. You're not allowed to tear. Okay, fine. Amar Rabbi Elazar, says Rabbi Elazar, hameziach hachoshen ma'ala efod. If somebody is going to detach the choshen from the efod, v'mesir badei aron, you're going to detach the badei aron, which are the poles of the aron. Loke, a person also gets lashes. Shneimar v'lo yizach hachoshen me'ala efod v'lo yasiru menu, and the badim lo yasiru menu. So again, you detach the poles from the aron, or you're going to take away the choshev from the minay fold, lashes. Matki Ravach bar Yaakov, Asa Ravach bar Yaakov, v'dilma haki kamar Rachmana. This is what the Torah was teaching us. Chadkinu v'avdinu shapir keder shelo yizach v'lo yasuru. So it says, maybe it means to say that you should make it very, very tight in order that it shouldn't come off, right? And the poles also shouldn't come off. Not that there's any suit of taking it off, but rather make it tight enough that it doesn't come off. Okay? So says the Gemara, Mi ketiv, is it written shelo yizach v'shelo yasuru? Is it actually written shelo yizach v'shelo yasuru? It doesn't say shelo yizach shelo yasuru again with the shin, which would have meant this, right? That he says, but rather since it's just written v'lo yizach v'lo yasuru, it means that there's an avirah of taking it off. Okay, fine. Another halacha. Rabbi Yosef Rabbi Chanina Rami Ktiv. Rabbi Yosef Rabbi Chanina comes and he asks a contradiction. It's written in the Torah, "B'tabeot Aaron yu abadim lo yasiru mimenu." Right, with the tabaot of the Aaron, you're not allowed to take it off. It's written, you have to bring the tabaot. How do you do this? Which means it's mashma that they were made in a way that it was able to come in and out. So therefore, how do you do it that it's made to come in and out, but you're not allowed to take them off? So answers the Gemara, mitparkin, right, which means that they were able to come off, right? Right, that means you're able to take them off. Ve'en nishmatin, but they're not completely taken off, which means they were thick enough, right? That's what it means. The badim were very thick on the ends, but they were very skinny, right, thin in the middle. So therefore, after you already put them into the tabaot, right, afterwards within the tabaot, you were able to move them, but then they weren't able to come out. Means that on the sides, they were thicker, and then in the middle, it got thinner. So within the inside, it's able to move, but on the outside, it cannot.
It holds it.
It holds it, right? So that's how you did it. Tanya Miyaki also went to the right, I would have thought say lo yuzazim command that you can't move it from its place. We comes teach you if it's going to be that you're going to bring the tabaot, I would have thought say that you could completely take it in and out. How is it? Right, that it's going to be very rafa, it's going to be very rafui is very soft, meaning like loose, but it cannot come off completely. Okay. Amar Rabbi Chama Rabbi Chanina. Says Rabbi Chama Rabbi Chanina. My dictive, what does it mean in the pasuk? It says shitim omedim. Yeah, what does it mean? It says shitim omedim. That these are the wood, the cedar wood which is standing. It says over here, shomdim derech kedilatan, right? That it's going to be, right, the way that it's going to be the way that it grows. Right? What does that mean, the way that it grows? So it says here they used to put the krashim in a way that it was shaya gavoa beilan omer lemala, that was on the top part. The achelek shaya nimuch beilan omer lemata, was put on the bottom part. Okay, so it says here davar acher, another explanation. Omdim shemamidin etzipuyan. What does it mean omdim? It says shitim omdim, that the tzipuya zahav was on the krashim, right? Was with it with masmerim. That means it was actually with nails. So with nails, they put the tzipui. The tzipui is the covering. So the gold covering was not just stam put on the side; it was in it with nails.
The nails made out of gold too.
Yes. Yeah.
Stama.
Probably. It doesn't say here, but it's probably made out of gold. Yes.
Okay. Another thing, if we're doing the tzipui, it has to be.
It has to be also gold. 100%. Yeah. Then it says, unless you're going to say that they were also mitzupeh zahav. Could be. Sometimes they do that. Sometimes. Davar acher, another explanation.
But they have the technology. It's amazing.
Yeah, for sure. Davar acher, another explanation. Omdim, what does it mean omdim? Shema, tomorrow I would have thought to say avad, sivran, uvatel sikuyan, that is already, we lost hope. And it's already batel, it's now the sikuyim, how do you say sikuy in English? The opportunities, thank you. Tamulomar comes teach you, omdim, shomdim leolam, it's always forever. It's going to be forever. The Amar Rabbi Chanina says, Rabbi Chanina, my dictive was in the pasuk, ebigdei asira l'shareh b'kodesh. Right now, sirad is milashon sarid. It's like sherit. There's a remnants. Right. So what is the sarid has to do with bigdei mishkan? Ayin bet amubet. Right. 72b. So it says ilmale bigdei kiuna. If it wasn't for the fact of bigdei kiuna, lo nishtayem misonen shel Yisrael tzayuf pleit. If it wasn't for the fact of bigdei kiuna, the enemies of Yisrael. Remember here, it's a euphemism for Yisrael itself. We wouldn't have found any type, because that was a kapara, right? Which means that the clothing in himself, right, were already a kapara, right? So he says, "Ki lo kaparat korbanot." So then we would have been destroyed. So according to this, the bigdei serad or begadim, that through them they were able to do the service in the Bet Hamikdash. So since they were able to do service in the Bet Hamikdash, that's why we're still here. Okay. Rabbi Shmuel ben Nachmani Amar, Rabbi Shmuel ben Nachmani says, Dve Rabbi Shimon Tana, they taught in the academy of Rabbi Shimon, begadim shegodrin otan kriyatan, right, miklehen. We're talking about that they cut them, right, already when it's already completely full, which means when they do the bidei kiuna, they do everything when it's hollow, and then when it's already fitting, then they cut it from the utensil. Umisaradin mehen klum.
What does it mean?
It says here, mashirim miktzat me'abeged she'eno rugim ahem, v'Hashem ze nikraim bigdei kiuna bigdei serat. They leave a little bit which is not sewn together. This is an interesting thing. Yeah, mashirim, mamash. They leave a little bit that's not actually sewn together. And that's why it's called bigdei serad. Serad milashon misaradin me'en klum, which is sarid, which means there's something left over that's not actually done. Yeah. Fine. So maihi, what does that mean? So the Shakish Amar, elu maase machat. So these are the parts of the begadim which were done through a machat and not bariga, which means with a needle and not intertwined, not ariga. So what does that mean? Matevei, we're going to ask a question. So 1 second, but you can't do that because it has to be through ariga. It cannot be done through machat. So Amar Abaye says, we're talking about the sleeve. As we learned in the Braita, bet yad shebigdei kiuna neneg b'ftatzma, then it's beket im abeged, and then it's going to be attached to the clothing. Magat.
So you cannot use needles.
Yeah, but only for the sleeves you could use needles, not for anything else. Okay, and then it says that the sleeves got until kaf yad, would get until the hand. Okay, pisat yad is the kaf yad. So Amar Rachva Amar Rav Yehuda says Rachva in the name of Yehuda, shalosh aronot asa betzalel. Do you know that the Betzalel, he made 3 aronot in order to do the pasuk of Asu aronot tzashliv zikdot zazim baitu mechutz tzpenu? So he made 3 of them. 2 of them were gold, and 1 of them was made out of etz.
One on top of
in one inside of the other. Okay, so in Tzai, the middle one was made out of etz, right? Tisha, right, which was actually made out of 9 tfachim. Penimi is made out of gold. Shmona. The chitzon, the outer one, was made out of 10 tfachim. Umashu. Okay, so basically it had to be done in such a way that you had the outer one, inner one, and then the inner one, right? The middle one, if you want to call it, and then the inner one. So as the Gemara, I thought we said that it wasn't going to be a sarau mashu. I thought it was a chadasar mashu. I thought that the outer one had to be 11 and a half, right? Meaning 11 and something. Mashu is a little bit, right? So answers the Gemara lakashia. One of them says that the ovi, the thickness, had a tefach, and one like about number that says that it does not have a tefach.
So it was really tight.
Yes, it was. They were tight together, one inside of the other one. You had between
there
9.
Was no reva. There was no space between. It's amazing.
Yeah, 9, 8,
calculated.
exactly 9, 8, and 10 or 11, whichever one is mashu. Okay, my mashu. How much is a mashu? Zer. Zer is mashu is like a keter, which means mamash like a kamin safa. Okay, which is mekushetet at the top. Fine. Amar Rabbi Yochanan, says Rabbi Yochanan, shlosha zerim hen. There are 3 ketarim. Shel mizbeach, shel aron, shel shulchan. That means there are 3 different types of crowns that were on the different utensils in the Mishkan. One of them is the mizbeach, the aron, and the shulchan. Which mizbeach? The mizbeach ha'pnimi, mizbeach ha'ketoret, the inner mizbeach. Number 2, the aron, and number 3, the shulchan. The shulchan here is referring to the shulchan of the lechem ha'panim. Okay, shel mizbeach, the one of the mizbeach, it says zacha aron umtalo. So Aaron HaKohen, he was zocheh, and he took it for his children, for everyone. The shel shulchan, the one of the shulchan, which is keter malchut, zacha David umtalot. So David Melech took it. Okay? Shel Aaron, the one of keter Torah, adai manuachu. It's anywhere. Kol harotze likach yavu yikach. Anyone that wants to come and learn Torah could learn Torah. Shema Tomar pachutu. Maybe I'm going to say that the one of the Torah is the least one. Tamalumar melachim yimlochu. Chochmat Torah is the Torah that the melachim are going to become kings with it. So therefore, there are 3 types of keter. Keter malchut, keter kiuna, and each one is symbolized in the utensils. You have the keter of the mizbeach, right? You have the keter of the Aaron and the shulchan. So he says the mizbeach was Aaron, because the mizbeach is the sacrifices. That's Aaron HaKohen, keter kiuna. The shulchan is keter malchut. Who had the keter malchut? David HaMelech. And who had the keter of the Aaron, which is the Torah? Everybody could take the keter of the Torah. You want a crown? Learn Torah. That's the crown.
So that was hinting the Keter Shem Tov with the Torah.
Right. Well, we spoke about that. Whether the Keter Shem Tov Shelo El Gabehen, is it each one in separate, or is it a different, right, a different league in itself? Rabbi Yochanan Rami, so Rabbi Yochanan asked a contradiction. K'tiv, it's written Zar, Karinan Zer, right? Zacha nasit lo zer, lo zacha zara imenu. So therefore, he's coming and trying to say like this: if a person, right, the word is written Zar, but we read it Zer, so Zer is a crown. So Zer, he says, if we are zocheh and a person learns Torah lishma and he's mekayim the Torah lishma, it becomes from a keter. But if a person is not going to be zocheh, so then the Torah becomes zaraim and it becomes strange to him, which means he forgets his Torah. Zara instead of Zer. Okay?
That's a tremendous.
Yeah, 100%. No. But Zar is Zar, right? Is stranger, right?
In what language? No,
Which one? Zer? Yeah, it's also in Hebrew. Yeah. Rabbi Yochanan Rami, Rabbi Yochanan comes and he asks a contradiction. It's written in the Torah, "V'asita lecha aron etz." Uchtiv and it's written, "V'asu aron etz shitim." So the mikan tamich chacham shebnei yiro mitzuyim asol lo melachto. So from here we're learning, since it's written, "V'asita lecha aron etz," so therefore it's on Moshe himself to do it. But then it's written, "V'asu aron," it says that somebody else did it. So what's it? Moshe Rabbeinu himself had to do it, or somebody else did it. So from here there's a mitzvah that other people have to work for the tamich chacham. A tamich chacham sits and other people do his work.
Wow.
Yeah,
This is what we do.
100%. Yeah, 100%. Exactly. Yeah, you have to Masara Batalani. Yeah, they're supposed to be sitting and learning. They don't have to work. Yeah, fine. Then it says, from the inside and outside you have to cover it. Amar Rava says, any tamich chacham that is inside is not like his outside, which means that he doesn't have the yirat shamayim, right? What he has of the learning of the Torah is not a tamich chacham. Abaye v'itema Rabba Barula says, Abaye and some people say, so Rabba Barula says, Nikran nitav. He's also called a nitav, a toevan, an abomination, right? Shneimar says in the pasuk, Afki nitav v'nelach ish shoteh kamayim avla. So basically saying that the ish, which is drinking water, which is learning Torah, he's like the water, so he has an avla, therefore he's an abomination. Amar Rishon ben Nachmani, Amar Yonatan says Rishon ben Nachmani, Amar Yonatan. My dikti was mean in pasuk lama zemechir biyad kesi likro chokma b'levayin. Right? He says, what does this mean pasuk about the learning of the Torah, but he doesn't have the in his heart to fulfill it. Woe to the enemies of the Talmidei Chachamim. Again, euphemism for Talmidei Chachamim, if they're learning Torah but they don't have Yirat Shamayim. Which means, remember, the Yirat Shamayim is the most important factor. Right? If the person is just learning Torah, he could become an encyclopedia. You understand? He could be the Guinness Book of World Record. He could be an Otzara Chokhmah in his brain. But if he doesn't have the Yirat Shamayim, worthless. An abomination, everything, all these things. Woe that he doesn't have a chatzer. But he's making a shar to his chatzer, which means the Torah is only a shar, right? Is only an entrance in order to get in the Yirat Shamayim. So if somebody's learning and he doesn't want to get Yirat Shamayim, he's just working for nothing because he has nothing. No, but he has to have the Yirat Shamayim. The Yirat Shamayim is the utensil in order that the Torah comes inside of it. The Torah adds to Yirat Shamayim. But the person needs Yirat Shamayim, and then when he's learning the Torah, it's going to help. 100%, but he still needs Yirat Shamayim. He has to be yearning to have Yirat Shamayim, and all the time has to be adding.
You know what? I'm not going to learn now until I'm going to have Yirat Shamayim. I'm going to take my time.
No. There's the Yirat Shamayim. Obviously, by learning Musar, a person gets Yirat Shamayim. However, though, right, the learning Torah also brings Yirat Shamayim. However, though, a person has to be yearning for that. A lot of people, they made Talmud Torah that it's a profession. Science, it's math, it's a beautiful, it's incredible, but they have no Yirat Shamayim. Yeah, this happened
People could
in
come
Europe.
to learn that Daf of Gemara on Shabbat, and they come with their pencils in here.
Yeah,
to
they
make
were writing
notes.
Chidushei Torah.
No.
Yeah, there were certain places. There were certain places in Germany. In Germany.
Emmanuel. Claro, Shabbat estudiaba el Daf de Gemara, tenía los lápices aquí, la bolígrafo aquí, entonces
What?
When a person comes to learn, whatever it is,
Amar le'urava le'Rabanan. Says Rava to Rabbanan, to students, "B'matutu minaychu b'vakasha mimchem, please, lo tirtun tarte geinam." Don't get two geinams. Which means if you're going to be hamel b'Torah and you're not going to actually fulfill the Torah, so then you get two geinams. Geinam in this world, right? And Gehinam in the next world. Gehinam in this world because you didn't actually benefit from anything in this world. And next world, you're also going to get Gehinam. So you might as well, you understand? Meaning, don't get two Gehinams. So therefore, fulfill the Torah. You're learning Torah, fulfill the Torah. Amar Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi says, Yeshua ben Levi, what does it mean in Pasuk V'zot Torah shesam Moshe? Zacha na'asa lo sam chayim. If a person is going to be zocher, the Torah becomes for him like a sam chayim. Right? What does it mean, a sam chayim? Like a good trufa, like a good remedy, right? Like a good medicine.
The oxygen,
right? The oxygen in order to do it. Lo zacha, if he's not going to be zocha, na'asi lo sam mita, becomes for him like a veneno, like a poison. Yeah, that's what it becomes for them. V'hainu d'amar Rava, and that's what Rava says. The uman la sama dechaya. The la uman la sama demuta. So somebody that's going to be osek b'Torah like an uman, which means in a proper way, which is lishma. For him, it's a sam chayim. But if it's not going to be lishma, it's sama mavet. It's mamash. It's a poison. Amar Shmuel ben Nachman. He says Shmuel ben Nachman. Rabbi Yonatan Rami. Rabbi Yonatan asks the contradiction. It's written Pigdei Hashem Yisrael Misamech Elev, and it's written Imrat Hashem Tzrufa. Right, zacha. If a person is zocher to learn Torah lishma misamachto, it's going to make a person very happy. Lo zacha. If he's not going to be zocher sorafto, it's going to cleanse him from the surim in this world, right, and gehinam. Right, that means basically he's going to get yisurim in this world, and that's why it's going to purify him. It's going to purify, right? Tzurufa is tzoref. A tzoref is somebody that purifies the metal, the gold, in order to melt it down. The Shakish adds, migufe de kranafka. You learn from the same pasuk. Zachat tzorafto lechayim, lo zachat tzorafto lemita. The same word tzorafta depends whether it's going to purify him for this world, for lamaba, or for this world because of the lemita through yisurim and gehinam in this world. Yirat Hashem Torah omed lahad amar v'chanina ze lomed Torah b'tara. This is somebody that's learning Torah with purity. Mahi, what is it? No say isha v'chag lomed Torah. He's going to get married, and then afterwards he's going to learn Torah. Why? Because by getting married, he's going to be learning Torah b'tahara, and learning Torah b'tahara is so important, right? And then he's going to be learning Torah. Edut Hashem ne'emana, right? That's why it was so important by the rabbis to get married young, right? Even Rav Chaim Kanievsky until today, his grandchildren are very young. 18, 19, boom, they're already out. Yeah, there's no such thing as waiting until 24 or 25. No. 18, 19, they're already married. Why? Learning Torah b'tahara, with purity. Why with purity? Once they're married, that's it. They're with the wife. They're much more calm. They're settled.
Right? Not looking around.
That's exactly.
It says once you get married, you can't accept all Torah. You don't have
no.
You don't have the head for it.
No, okay, 100%. But that's what nowadays it changed. You have to remember, in the olden days, if a person got married, right away he had the Olav Parnasah, he had to work, and then he wasn't able to do anything. So you're right, in the Rambam and other places also, it says the first person has to have a house, he has to have this, Parnasah, and then afterwards he gets married. Right? But nowadays, it's the exact opposite. Nowadays, there's kololim, there's all these things. And remember, the purpose of the kololim was because the rabbi saw that the Torah was not going to be able to stay in Klal Yisrael if we didn't do these things. You have to remember, in the olden days, the Balabait learned 8 hours a day. Look in the Rambam. The Rambam was the first one that said, you have to work. But when he actually writes in the Rambam, what did he say? 8 hours of sleep, 8 hours of learning Torah, and 8 hours of work, eating, and all the other things that you needed to do. So he's 8 hours learning. Nowadays, Avrechim learn 8 hours a day. That's an Avrech. Avrech learns 8 hours a day. So how much does the Balabait learn? So therefore, if you're only going to have Balebatim and you're not going to have Avrechim, there's no Torah anymore. You got rid of the entire Torah. There's nothing there. If the Balebatim would learn the 8 hours a day, everyone could become Balebatim. The Avrechim could also become Balebatim. But nowadays, Avrechim are Balebatim. You understand? Think about it. That's the way it is. Yeah, it changed the entire. The society changed. Everything changed. So there's a lot of things that changed. Okay. So now it says, Yirat Hashem. Okay, fine. Edut Hashem ne'emana. Rabbi Bar Abba says ne'emana the Torah, which is called Edut Hashem la'id belomdea, to testify about the people that learn it. Maaser okem. What is maaser okem? Maaser choshev. Amar Rabbi Lazar shelokmin b'mekom shechoshvim. At the beginning, they used to be roshmin tzura on the beged through a tseva, and then afterwards they used to actually make. So first they made the tzura, and then afterwards they actually used to make it out. Okay. Tana mishmeder v'nechemya. They also taught in the time in academy v'nechemya rokem maaseh machat. Lefichach partzuf echad. Therefore, they used to come and make it. That he used to look on the two sides of the beged, but maaseh choshev, maaseh oreg. Lefichach shnei partzufot. So therefore, on every single side of the hariga was another tziyur, right? Because since it had to be maaseh oreg, it's two different levels. It's like two different shchavot, okay? And each one had it on its own. Be'elu nishalin dorim etumim. Now, they used to ask, remember, that only the Kohen Gadol and the king and the Abedin, they would be able to ask the dorim etumim. Not anybody could come and start asking the dorim etumim. Sorry. So, Kiyata Ravdimi, Amar, when Ravdimi came, he said, Begadim, שכהן גדול משמש בהן, משוח מלחמה משמש בהן. That means the כהן גדול and the משוח מלחמה was one that was going out to war. They were able to wear the same clothing. שנאמר בידי הקודש של אהרון יהיו לבניו אחריו. Right? למי שבא בגדולה אחריו, the one that's coming in the גדולה after him. Who's that? The כהן המשוח במלחמה. So אמרתי, רבד ברבא, says רבד ברבא, המלכדי, יכול להיאבוד לפחות שיהיה בנו של משוח במלחמה, even the son of the משוח could also do it. כדי שבנו של כהן גדול, just like the son of the כהן גדול, which means that when the כהן גדול passes away, his son takes over. So I would have thought to say the same thing happens when the כהן משוח במלחמה passes away. The same thing, his son will take over. כהן משוח במלחמה. He's anointed to go to war. Yeah? So Tamulumar comes teaching Shivat Yamim Mibasham HaKohen Tachtam Banav Asher Yavo Lo Moed. There's Ayin Gimel Amud Aleph on the top, 73:1 on the top. So it says over here, Shivat Yamim Mibasham HaKohen Tachtam Banav Asher Yavo Lo Moed. Nisha Lo Lo only the one which is fitting to go into the Moed. Now, if you're going to tell me the Kohen Mashuach Melchama is on the rest of the year, he could also put on the eight begadim, Mixi Chazi. So then for sure he's fitting to go in Yom Kippurim, right? But we already know that it's not true. Right, because it's written that the Kohen Gadol, right, is so the Kohen Mashuach Milchama, if he's able to do it, so then he's able to come and use the clothing on Kippur. So the Gemara is going to answer, no, it means say Kol sheikar Mashichato Zolol Moed. It says that sheikar Mashichato Milchama. There, the ikar of the Mashicha is only for Milchama and not for the Ol Moed. We continue Bezrat Hashem tomorrow.